And our tip of the week today is tracking recycled materials for LEED. So I think many of you know that part of the purpose of doing LEED accreditation 2 is to hopefully try to get projects to reuse some of the existing materials and elements out there in the world. And so we can actually track some of that here in Archicad as well. And that's because one of the things that they require you to do as part of this accreditation is to track the recycled materials within your project. So how can you do that? Well, one of the ways you can do that is to basically define what are the recycled materials that you have within your project that would meet those materials and resources part of the LEED requirements. And so an easy way to do that is simply to go into your surfaces, just go to Options and Surfaces, open this up, and then within our materials list here, our surfaces list, basically create or segment different surfaces with a prefix. So in this case, you can create basically a prefix, say MR, for example, for materials and resources, and then that can be separated out from your different materials. And so if you've got your default materials down here in Archicad, and then you can have your other ones up here above, then if you select those, we can then, within our schedules, we can then segment that out for doing our reports for what's required for LEED. So here's how we would do that. So again, opening up those scheme settings out of our for schedules, for creating and managing schedules. Within our scheme settings, the first thing we're going to do is to create a new schedule called Recycled Materials Walls Surface Calculation. And then we're going to create these criteria. So in this example, we're going to basically say the element type is wall, and it can either be MR, EIFS wall system, or MR recycled content gypsum board. And it could be other types of materials, it could be whatever materials you want in here. And then we could do inside surface for our outside materials, and then inside surface for inside materials. And then under our fields, what we're going to do is we're going to track the recycled materials, right? We're going to have that ID for that wall. We're going to track quantity. We're going to track the outside face surface and the surface area. And we can do the same thing for the inside face surface. And then if we go OK, you can see where we actually are now beginning to track that, right? So now we got the ID. Here's the exterior walls. Here's our interior walls. Here's those different wall materials that are being tracked in our schedule. And then here's the different surfaces that's being tracked for that and the total for that square footage. So this allows you then to go through the process and create a schedule that you can then place onto a sheet to show that you are meeting those particular requirements for that point and that particular LEED requirement to be met. And that's the way you would do it. And that is our tip of the week. Let's go ahead and get it into Archicad.